because what will happen is, I said, you got to find what you love and what you have to do until you can do what you love every day. And
Dude,
what I
say
meant
that
by that
again.
was,
I'm going to
yeah,
interrupt you, DJ. Say that again. That is so powerful.
yeah, you've got to find something that you love and what you have to do until you can do what you want to do, until you can do what you love to do every day.
Let's go. You are incredible. Your body has a purpose. Your life has a purpose. You were designed to live the best life possible.
Mic check. Mic sound okay? Camera 1 good? Camera 2 good? All right, here we go. Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode. You are tuned in to Listen, You're Not Defeated, and I'm your host, David Hernandez. I am super excited for today's episode. I have a very special guest, special friend of mine who's going to be sharing some wisdom. But before we jump into the episode, I want to just remind you, if you haven't already subscribed, click the subscribe link, click the bell to get all the notifications of upcoming episodes. And also make sure to follow me on all social media platforms. If you have any questions or you would like to connect with me, it's at Dave K. Hernandez. At Dave K. Hernandez. And just a reminder, every week I do have an episode coming out every Thursday, so make sure you tune in and stay plugged in. So today's episode, I brought in a very special guest, a super close friend of mine who I had the privilege of meeting in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, at Equinox. There was a time where I was working there at the gym. I met him there, and he graciously connected in a humble way, but also we became friends. And still today, we are amazing friends several years back now since we've had this relationship. And I just found out that he's in Florida as well as I'm in Florida. It's just crazy how things sometimes work and how life just happens. And so without further ado, I want to introduce to you my special friend and guest. He is a real estate investing professional. He's an entrepreneur, multimillionaire. His name is DJ Thielen. What's going on, DJ? How you doing, man?
What's up, man? What's up? Now we're both down in Florida. We go from California to miraculously living by each other in Florida, man. That's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. I know when we had a phone call a couple of days ago, I couldn't believe that you were in Florida. We met at Equinox. You were training there. You were so gracious. Look, before we even go to that, one of the things I just really want to share this, because one of the things that I really loved about you was just, in spite of you being, excelling in your business and being an amazing entrepreneur running multi-million-dollar company, you were so gracious to open up and just have a conversation. And you were humble, you were personable, you were social, which a lot of times there's this misconception of like millionaires being hard asses or like kind of pushing people away or not being so social.
That
But
don't bother
you were
me.
so social, dude. And that was
Especially,
something.
hey, man, especially in LA,
Yeah,
right? You get a lot
that's
of,
right.
well, yeah, I mean, way more like here in, West Palm Beach, especially, right? It's the old money. They're like, oh, hey,
Yep,
how are you? But it's different there, man.
it
Um,
really is.
and so, yeah, no, I appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, man. And so we had this conversation, and you're now in Miami, and I moved over here to Florida. You're close to Miami. You're in Broward County, but I moved out here in January, and you moved in last year in June. And look at this, we're connecting again, and I just think that's pretty amazing how sometimes destiny just happens, and when you meet solid people and build great relationships, how that just transcends through countries, man, or through cities and states, right? That's really cool.
Yeah, for sure, man. I agree.
So share a little bit about yourself before we jump into like the whole gist of it and some of the things that you've struggled with. Talk to the audience, share a little bit about who you are, what it is that you do, and then we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of things.
Oh, yeah, man. We'll get to as they say, we'll get to the good part,
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
yeah, man, for those of you that don't know me, my name's DJ Thielen. I'm the CEO and founder of Flipping on Demand and Empire Real Estate Builders. Um, Kind of like real quick backdrop, I was born I just turned 50 last year. So which we'll
You
talk
look
more about.
incredible, by
But
the way, for 50, brother.
thanks, man. Thanks.
Incredible.
But yeah, man, I got to show you. I don't got the guns like you yet, man. But yeah, man. So I was raised by a single mom. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and not having a dad in my life was a big impact on me wanting to be the dad that I never had, which we'll get to because I just did a post on my social. It's my son's 26th birthday today, right?
Wow.
So
happy birthday to him, man.
Yeah, April 1st, 96. So, I was, I grew up with a lot of love, right? So a really close-knit, loving, encouraging family.
Right.
But I didn't have the, we didn't have a lot of finances, right? My mom worked 2 jobs to raise my brother and I. My grandparents helped out as much as they could, of course. And through that, Dave, it was really, I'm thankful, right? Because what I've come to know now, man, is that what we think is a curse when we're younger, poor, got freaking holes in my sneakers. Everyone else has brand new sneakers. I don't have money for lunch or whatever. Yeah. I don't got a dad, right? All these things that we think are a curse, if we choose to look at them and have the right perspective on them, when we get older, they really, really, really become blessings. And so having some abuse, not having money, being poor, not having a dad, not having my mom around, running the streets, doing stupid stuff, getting in trouble, being, I was a CD student, right?
Wow.
And so barely graduated, literally, and I don't talk about it a lot, but barely graduated 8th grade. And then in college, right? Didn't even make grades my freshman year because I just didn't. And then obviously my sophomore year, I got serious. So grew up that way. Thank God I had some athletic ability that when I was 19, I was a junior college player of the year. I got drafted. I was the 6th pick of the San Francisco Giants in 1991. And
fantastic.
That was like, we have these pivotal kind of fork in the roads, and that was like, okay, I signed with Lewis and Clark State, which was a college in Idaho winning the World Series every year. But the coach was a total hard ass, right? Like honest to God, I can admit this. Where I was mentally at that time, he probably would have broke me. So thank God I signed. I went through that path. I was climbing the minor league ladder, and a lot of things that happened at that time in my life, I wasn't self-aware, right? So they tell us like, hey, don't let the highs be too high and the lows be too low.
Yeah, that's a common
one.
Well,
how?
That's right.
But yeah, how? Right? People don't. It's like, okay, well, no one showed me, no one taught me, no one. They just throw it out there, and it's like, well, shit, it sounds good, but how do I do that? So that happened, right? I was climbing the minor league ladder. At that time in my life, because I didn't understand, like, and those people listening now, one thing I can tell you 1,000% for sure is when I started really, really understanding, Dave, that I have control over not necessarily my thoughts. We have so many thoughts that come in, right? People say, control your thoughts. It's kind of tough, but I can control what I believe. I can control the activities that I do each day. I can control my feelings. I can control my state. I can control my happiness. I can control my energy. And this is really, I started understanding the older I got, like, dang, man, I can literally have a great day every day, no matter what happens externally, because it all stems internally. And so now I use that, of course, in my life to help myself propel and learn and grow and make new connections. But coming through that minor league, so first fork in the road, I think, in my life was pro ball, go to college, which I hated school, or do I go and just sign and get on with it at 19? So I signed, was climbing the ladder, met a gal, got her pregnant, had a son unplanned, as most of us are unplanned. And literally today, funny enough, 26 years ago, he was born. And I was a mess, man. I remember I flew back that day from spring training from Arizona. He was born at like 3:30 in the morning. I just talked to him before this. We were talking for about an hour. He was born about 3:30 in the morning, and I had to stay. They made me stay and play in a game. So I stayed, which looking back now, I'm like, that was some BS, right? But so I played, and then I went and spent time with him, and man, that was the second pivot, right, or turning point, kind of fork in the road. And I think all of us hit so many these forks in the roads at different points in our life. So that was that was one of the biggest forks, one of the top two in my life I ever experienced. It's like, okay, I always said when I was growing up, man, when I have a son, I'm going to be there, right? Because our dad wasn't. Right. And I forgave him and loved him. And he passed a year after my mom in 2011. But wow. You know, I'm like, man, I'm going to be there because our dad wasn't. So I decided, I flew home, I held him. I'm like, man, I felt like a love that I never felt in my life. And I'm like in a bond, and I'm like, man, I'm being here for him. And so I ended up, I was going to go back the next year, never did. So I basically walked away from the game and kind of a dream to, again, right. We think that, oh, that's a curse, or God, why did that have to happen now? And it was actually, looking back, it was actually a blessing. It got me to be a dad that I didn't have, change that generational curse that we had in our family heritage. And now, right, when he has a kid, I guarantee you, like, he's going to be there every day for him, coach him, inspire him, take him on trips. And again, like, so those, so that happened. And then kind of fast forward to now, like a whole long story short, I got into real estate in 2005, sold a company, got into real estate, knew nothing about it, started buying properties out of state. And now fast forward, 17 years. And we basically have a turnkey operation where we help people get real estate deals in multiple markets throughout the country, like the low cost, low risk, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Michigan. So we help them get the deals, acquire them. We help them fix them. We connect them with good managers to rent them. And then we concierge with them and say, hey, we're going to be here to anytime you need help, anytime you need guidance, anytime you need something. So we're connected with them still. So been doing that, and got, that led me into real estate. And it's funny, Dave, the things that, all the things that, like when I was young, it's like, oh my God, right? People, and this is good for young people. Yeah. People say, like, I wish I knew this when I was younger. And I remember people talking to me when I was 20, 21, giving me advice, giving me input, telling me things. And I'm like, damn, I should have listened to that. But I was I thought I knew everything, right? I thought, like, my shit didn't stink, as they say. And it was like, man, you know what? God dang, I wish I would have listened to that and taken that to heart. And so for all the young people out there, right, it's like the people that have went before you, you can't listen to everybody, but you want to take advice. I don't care if it's a parent, a coach, do not take advice from anybody if they haven't been successful at what you're wanting to get advice on. Absolutely, unequivocally. Don't care if it's a parent, don't care if it's a teacher. I don't care if they ain't done it. They can't give you advice on how to do it. So well said. Yeah, man. So we gotta take advice from people that have done what we're seeking to do. And then just take the advice. And then once we get the advice and the information, hopefully get the instruction, and then we can take that instruction. And if we just do it each day, things will work out. So, totally, dude. So it's you said, tell a little bit about me. That was a lot of it, but there you go.
That's awesome though, because it does give us a good glimpse of the reason I have this podcast titled that, Listen, You're Not Defeated, is because it's very easy for us to go through, like you said, have curses or go through forks in the roads or go through challenges. And it's very easily to give up. It's easy to quit. It's easy to allow these external factors to dictate what your life is going to be and how you're going to live your life. And the fact that you did not allow that to happen, even from a young age, because it's very easy to say, well, I didn't have a dad, so it kind of excuses me to live this destructive life or be on a road to bad destruction or to habits, bad habits, or to, just a not so great lifestyle. But yet you chose to rise and you chose to, go after what you truly wanted. So that's powerful, man. That's powerful. What are some of the things that you just mentioned, that there was some advice that you wish you would have taken from a young age from those that were speaking into your life? Could you share a couple of those things that you wish you could have taken at an earlier age?
Man, I think when you grow up in an environment, right? Like for me personally, and those of you listening, right? Maybe you haven't been through as bad of things as I have. Maybe there's a lot of people who have been through way worse. Yeah. But at the end of the day, right, I'm just like you. You're just like me. We've all been through some messed up things and some challenges in our lives. And so I think a few things is, so one was don't let your highs be too high and your lows be too low. And that's life, right? But the problem with that, and here's what I've come to know now. So it's like, well, what does that mean? Right. So, and I was this way, obviously, when I was younger. People that have a high level of emotion, they say have a low level of intelligence, right? So if you're going through the day and reacting, and everything is a reaction, and you don't stop that and you don't break that cycle, you're going to have a really frustrating, angry, stressful life. But what you have to do is understand, like, hey, that's going to be there. That's going to happen. And what I do, Dave, personally, is I wake up in the morning, I work out, I swim, I do my gratitude, right? If you focus in the morning on gratitude, on things you're grateful for in your life right now, I don't want to say you can't be mad, but how can you? It's kind of like having fear or faith, right? You can't have both simultaneously. So which one do you choose? And it's really that simple. It's really a choice. I'm going to choose right now to think about the things that I'm grateful for in my life right now and vibrate on that. And then what I do, and I've learned how to do, and I don't know, if others do, but when I'm doing my gratitude and I'm doing my praying, I smile and I get into like this happy state in the morning. And what I do then is it's just a nice way to start the day. And then I try my best to carry that energy through the day. And then I'm very aware that, okay, I'm going to vibe happiness energy wise between a 6 and a 10. So like my low, they say, don't let your highs be too high and your lows be too low. Right. Well, why don't you just let your highs stay high? Why don't you just ride like, hey, my low is a 6, right? So my low is maybe a lot of people's high, but my low might be a 6. So if my low is a 6, my high is a 10 and I'm vibing there, I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to actually be way more successful because you can't vibe at that level unless you're focused on solutions, unless you're focused on responding, not reacting, unless you're focused on the glass half full, not the glass half empty, unless you're focused on, your perception, because really our reality is our perception. How I perceive something, right? If I perceive somebody doesn't like me, our mind is proven fact wants to be right. So we're going to look at this person and anything that we can find to basically make our thoughts correct to us. Yeah.
Right.
People aren't even aware that this is going on. And they're whatever, cheating on me. Right. Yeah. And it's like, well, listen, you believe that they're going to cheat on you. You tell them, you pound on them and pound on them. You're a bitch to them. You like treat them like crap. and you literally create the exact thing that you're thinking is happening that's not happening. You literally create it to prove the mind right. And this happens in relationships, in business, in deals, in real estate, in workouts, in in everything. It's like, so what I'm getting at is the way that we choose to perceive a person, a situation, a circumstance, is within our control, right?
That's right.
We can, it's back to, what can I control? What can't I control? So if I perceive somebody as upset with me or pissed off at me, or they don't like me, right? That's a self-defeating and self-fulfilling prophecy that you will fulfill, and you'll do things to literally get that person to truly not like you, even though they don't. That's not the situation. So I think, like, controlling the things that, number one, to answer your question, focusing on what can I control and what can I control.
That's
what can I and what can I not control, and then really paying attention and becoming aware and going, wow, man, I just need to, it's not normal. I just need to work at this. It's a conscious effort at first. It's like building a muscle. But the more that you do this, the more that you start your day and your routine, and the more you're aware of these things, and you start, man, this person, no, I'm not going to believe that, right? I'm not going to believe that they don't like me, that they're upset. Because check this out. They didn't text me back. They're pissed off at me.
Yeah.
No,
they didn't say hi to me,
busy.
right? Yeah.
They didn't say hi to me at the event. All of these things, right? And it's like, no, man, you got to slow down and think and really understand that whatever you perceive in a situation, you're going to create it to fit that narrative.
That's right.
And
that's good.
And so why not believe that they do like you? Why not believe that this person is faithful to you? Why not believe that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve? Going back to that, listen, if somebody's already done it, people go, I want to be a billionaire, but I don't think I can. Dude, thousands of people have. That means you can. If anyone's went before us and done it, then obviously that means that we can do it too, right?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I think that's one, and I think the other one, the thing I wish that I wouldn't have listened to. My mom did this a lot, and it wasn't intentional, right? And this is really good for parents to hear: is be really careful the words you speak over your kids. If you're, I'm a loving parent. We think we're good, but if you're not aware, and you're, oh, we can't, right? Look, we're at the store. Oh, we can't afford that.
Yeah.
Boom. Wire, right?
That's right.
And then they hear this enough, and then they grow up believing that they're not worthy, that they can't afford the things they want, that they don't deserve the things that they want, that they'll never have these things. And this is one of the, I guess, things that as kids, we all grow up with stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't done intentionally, right?
Right.
To hurt us. It wasn't even done intentionally. It was just like, no, we can't afford that. But we grow up wondering why, man, we have this like invisible glass ceiling with money. Why do I always have this amount in my account? Like if it goes up a little, it always freaking comes back down. Or if it goes down, it always seems to come back up. Why is that? Right. And then obviously the Ed Milet thermostat, people can go watch that on YouTube. That will explain why that's happening. But anyways, man, that's those are a couple things.
That's amazing, man. It's funny how I'm hearing you say all that, and it's almost to the T in line with what I also speak towards my students that I coach, right? As working with people that are coming from an overweight state, or they're dealing with emotional eating, stress eating, binge eating, understanding that you can only control what you can control, and you can't control the things that are out of your control. And it's really about, what are you focusing on? Your perspective and all these things is what's really going to happen. That's where your beliefs are in, right? So like you said, perspective, I think, is fantastic. And then knowing that control the things that you can control. You said we can't control our thoughts. I agree, but we can control how we respond to them, right? We can control how they impact us, how they influence us.
And we can control like Tony Robbins. You're a Tony Robbins fan, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I love Tony. He says, we can't control what we think, but
Right.
we can our thoughts, but we can control which thoughts we believe.
That's right. Absolutely. And you brought a good point, because a lot of times we'll get offended by what people say, or we'll start to believe what people say. And what we got to know is that everybody has a right to have an opinion. This is what I learned too, in line with what you said. Everyone has a right to have an opinion, but you don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to own whatever people say over you, speak about you, or tell you, right? It then becomes your fault if you choose to then believe it, because now you've aligned with what they said about you, with what they think about you, and now you're the one being influenced and affected by something that really isn't true.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was good when you said that, because many times we allow, right, these external factors, external things said, people telling us things that end up tearing us down or making us feel bad, and never pursuing the life that we can literally live. Like you said, if somebody else has done it, we can do it as well. I think that's great.
Yeah. Look at the 4-minute mile, right?
Yeah.
The whole story behind that, right? Roger Bannister. No, I think it was in the 1940s or 50s. No one ever breaks the 4-minute mile ever in thousands of years or whatever. All of a sudden, one guy does it. Then that next year, I think like 30 some guys do it. Yeah. Now you've had tens of thousands of people do it, including high school people, high school kids.
That's right.
And so you're going, okay, hold on a sec. So, how did he do it?
Yeah.
Right. And this is a good, a quick, good lesson. I ask people, how do you think he did it? Well, he believed he could. Well, so what he did was he saw the results in his mind and ran the race in his mind and saw himself doing it first. Then that raised, because in his mind, it doesn't know between what's real and what's not. So in his mind, he's already done it. So now, that has done what? Raised his belief in himself that he can actually do it. When you raise your belief in yourself, you can do something. You tap the highest level of potential inside of you.
Yes.
You do it, and then that reinforces your belief that I knew I could do it. But the same thing happens, right? You're talking about people that, let's say they have an eating problem.
Yeah.
Right. Or they're putting on, listen, weight is, if you're moving your body and eating healthy, you're going to be fit. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's variables, but, when you think, oh man, I knew I was going to, not stick to that food plan. I knew, I don't like using the word diet. I knew I wasn't going to stick to this. I knew, well, yeah. Like, no shit. That's why you failed. Why don't you see yourself in your mind, like reaching for that donut or stopping by the donut and not doing it? And the bottom line, Dave, is, listen, we all fall. We all, don't have the discipline that on certain things that we should. I mean, we're human flesh, but if you can understand that if you want a different life, if you want a different result, you have to do something different, and you have to be disciplined enough to go, I want that body. I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to be lean. I want to go to Europe and be able to walk up and down the millions of steps, right? Yeah. I want to enjoy life. I want to travel. Like, if that's how you truly want to live and do those things, then it should be, I don't want to say it's easy, but it will become easy.
That's right.
It's always hard. I went off a medication. My mom died in 2010. I was grinding. I was working more than ever, and to distract myself. And I was already a grinder. And a year later, I started having panic attacks. Driving my car, my Maserati, down the road. I'll never forget. I blacked out. And I thought I was having a heart attack. Paramedics came, all that. I was driving to my doctor's the next day. It happened again. I didn't know what was going on, right?
Yeah.
And it was the scariest thing I ever experienced. And he said, yeah, it's panic attack. Well, panic attacks. No. He said, yeah, man, you have so much that you're compressing inside of you. And basically, I was on that, right? It's called Celexa citalopram. I got on that in 2011. Whenever I would try to go off of it over the last decade, I would get about a week, and dude, I'd want to chew through a brick, right? Like, dude, if someone cut me off, I want to literally murder them. You know what I mean? Like, I was like the freaking Hulk, and I'm like, man, this is not me, right? Well, and so here's what happened. So I would go back on it, and we do this in life, right? It could be food, it could be diet, it could be workout. So I knew in my mind about 4 months ago, I don't need this. So, and I didn't plan to talk about this, but what I did was I immediately, like, I really knew it in my soul. I don't need this stuff. I'm solid. I can control, all these things. I meditate, I swim. I truly don't need this. So I believed that I could do this. I threw the freaking bottle away. I cold turkey, right? People are like, oh my God, don't do it. I'm like, crazy. Get out of here. Yeah. I knew I didn't need it. Dude, hit 1 week, freaking here. Like, I was like, dude, I was so irritable, right? Yeah. Whereas before, but I kept telling myself, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. Yeah. And so then what happened was I get off it. Week 2, smoothed out a little. By the 3rd week, it was almost completely gone, the edginess. And by the 4th week or 4th to 5th week, it was totally gone. And I've never looked back. That was 4 months ago. And so
that's incredible, man.
And so I say that to say, like, had I known that 10 years ago, right, or 11 or 9 years ago, we all need something sometimes, right? I believe that. I'm not against, but I think that, if we believe, that goes to show you how strong the mind is. And you believe that you can do something, and you just say yes, you're going to hit that wall where it's like, oh man, I can't do this. My body, I really need this. And then it keeps you dependent on it, right?
That's right.
This could be for somebody that's alcohol, cocaine, doing drugs, or whatever, smoking weed, and they want to get off. Listen, you can do it. You're going to hit that time that you're going to be not yourself. You're going to hit a time where you're going to be like wanting to just freaking, blow some shit up, right?
Yeah.
But you just got to just understand these words I'm speaking to you guys. You're going to get through it. It's just that window, that 1 to 2 weeks, man, just let me push through. Yeah. Let me push through for another week. Then you get to that week. Let me push through for another week. And pretty soon that desire, or need to do that, or feeling that you need it, will be gone. And then once you do that, you're like, I knew I could do it. So then if you ever slip back and go back to it again, now at least, which happens right in life, at least you know that you can come off it and you can do it.
That's right. That's right. That's amazing, man. That's really inspiring. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being vulnerable, because, opening up something intimate that you dealt with, that a lot of people think, oh, everybody that's at that level has it under control. They're perfect. They're excellent. And look, we're all human at the end of the day, and we all struggle with something, right? And there's no shame in that. Just like how you're talking about it, there's no shame, there's no judgment, there's no self-condemnation. It's just literally knowing, okay, I struggle with this, but consistently pressing through and believing that we can change that, and taking the proper action like you did. Definitely, we have the power to change that, man. Thank you for being vulnerable on that. Now, walk us back. Let's go back a little bit. You're 19 years old. You're hitting the major leagues. You just found out you're going to be a dad. Like, what all happened there, man? There's a bunch of chaos happening there. Knowing that now you're going to be a father, you potentially now have to give up the things that you were trying to do for yourself and now focus on your child, right? Now you have a relationship that you need to start building, and having to give up a certain dream and recreate your life, so to speak. Walk us through that. What was that process? What action steps did you take? And ultimately, what helped you continue to press through and help you get to where you're at now?
Man, that's a good question. I think that, listen, when you have those big forks in the road,
Yeah.
like that, and you're young, especially, right? Because
Yeah.
not only do you not have the life experience to make maybe a better call or decision, right? The older we get, the more life experience we have, but the easier it becomes to make those decisions, because you know that this is the route. You could see it a little clearer.
Right.
Man, I just again, right? It goes back to the words I spoke when I was younger. When my dad would say he's going to come pick me up and he wouldn't, I'd be crying. And I had this always inside of me, like, I'm not going to be like that, right? I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to be there when I have a kid someday. So I spoke this. So I think part of me, to be honest with you, was kind of wired to make that decision. And I wasn't sure that, his mom was going to be in the picture.
Yeah.
So once I took that year off, and I just was working to just survive, just take care of him, and and things started working out. And I think like looking back, what I know now is anyone that's facing those difficult, like challenging decisions, my mom was like, my mom was inspiration. She said, "Hey babe, we love you no matter what you decide. Like, we're here for you," right? So I think it's important to have like that, someone that supports you, like, no matter what.
Yeah.
And then two is to just know that you're never in life. We're only going to see the next staircase. So we're never going to see past a certain point. So when you think about, like, how do you drive across the country when it's dark? Well, because I can see 30 feet in front of me with the headlights. Well, how do I drive 6,000 miles if I can only see 30 feet? Because you go 30 feet and the next 30 feet reveal itself. Yeah. So I think that, that's life. And I think that, that, like, for me, I just did what I felt like was what I needed to do. I didn't understand the impact that it would have, or that it was the right decision back then. I just knew that, like, hey, this is important to me. And this is more important to me to be here for my son and be a good dad, than it is to go do this. Now, I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. I'm not saying, like, some people go, well, couldn't you have done both? Right. It's so easy to look back and kind of go, man, if I had the tools I have now, maybe things would have been a little different. But I think, like, when we're faced with those forks in the road, the main thing is you got to pick one. You can't have, it could be a relationship.
That's good right there.
You can't stand on one foot, and you just got to jump and pick one. And if it's the wrong one, right? Listen, you can change your mind. Like, it's not that you can't, like, change your mind on it, but at least leap. And I know people, Dave, that have wanted to start their business or want to just be wholesaling, flipping, and that I've coached over the years. And it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, nothing's changed. And it's like, man, nothing's changed because nothing changed. Yeah. You gotta just leap, go for it, go all in, and just let the next step kind of unveil itself. And I think that's just life. I mean, like with you, right? Hey, I'm going to move to LA and I'm going to go work at Equinox, and you just take that next step. And then the next step, you don't really know, people try to plan like 5-10 years in advance. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I'm like, dude, like 2 years max for me, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at like 2, maybe 3 years. It's with investing, it's different. But man, I think that you're never going to know what's right. But if you stay in something, in a relationship, in a business partnership, in a job that you freaking hate, and you keep talking about that shit and you don't do anything to change your situation, that's your fault.
That's right.
Right. And
well said.
And you see so many people do that. And I just encourage people, man, take the leap. Like if you've always wanted to go to Italy, like I'm going here in a couple months, go. Jesse Itzler.
Yeah.
One of my favorite guys I follow, right, is lean into things. And I got a really important tip, Dave. I appreciate you letting me ramble, man.
Yeah, man, please.
I got a really good tip here. So I learned this. We don't go towards or back to what is good for us. Could be a relationship, right? So we've all been in relationships where maybe it wasn't the best thing for us, but then we go back and we leave and we go back, right? You break up, you go back at every age.
Yeah.
Well, the reason we do that is we don't go towards what's good for us. We go towards what's familiar based upon our childhood experience. So when we're young in our childhood, there's something that anchors that even, let's say you grew up with violence, right?
Yeah.
And or whatever, and you're in a violent relationship that's unhealthy, you might go back to that. And even though it's not good, it's familiar. So when you realize, man, that is not, what's the Bible say? Love is kind, love is patient, it doesn't keep record of right or wrong, it's slow to anger, right? So if you're looking and someone's telling you they love you, but they're acting in an opposite manner, right?
Yeah.
Then boom, you can go, okay, I'm going back to this. That's not love. It's not healthy. It's not good for me. But I keep going back because something in my childhood, I experienced that same kind of feeling, and it's a familiar feeling. And people go, man, why I keep going back to this, or I keep going back to this situation. That's why, because we mentally we're wired to go towards what is familiar,
right,
or comfortable, instead of what's good for us. Getting up early at 5 or 6, getting your ass in motion, and having you crack the whip on people. Let's go, man.
Yeah.
Right? Dude, that ain't easy. That's uncomfortable.
That's right.
But,
totally.
But we have to do things. If we want new results, we've got to do things that we haven't done. And if you're doing things you haven't done, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yeah. Of course, no shit. It's going to be uncomfortable. But what will happen is when you push through, you'll hit a point, a week, 2 weeks, a month, I don't know, 3 months, whatever it is. And you're like, oh my God, I'm in better shape. I have more energy. I feel better than I ever have. Now I'm never going back to how I used to be. How many people, dude, how many people, I don't even know. But how many people do you know that you had that effect on, like, oh my God, Dave, you helped me out, show me a new way. I will never go back to how I was. Does that happen to you a lot?
All the time. And I have the privilege of seeing that. And that's the beauty of pressing through and staying consistent and being resilient, of saying, you know what? No matter what, that's where determination comes into play, right? Of like, you're so determined, you're going to get it, you're going to achieve it no matter what. No matter how hard it might be, no matter how challenging, how difficult, how much doubt might be said to us or against us, like, it doesn't matter. You're so determined that whether it takes, like you say, 3 months, 6 months, a year, you're going to go after it until you get it.
Yeah, and if you do, and listen, it's not about doing things that when you feel like it, right?
That's right.
Like, you've got to just set it and go. I mean, if people went to work only when they felt like it, it'd be a lot more unemployed people, right? Or fired.
That's right.
And so it's funny. I was told my son this. I said, dude, here's one of the biggest secrets to life. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone say this. I kind of made it up one day. I said, you gotta find what you love and what you have to do.
Yeah.
If you're cleaning toilets,
Yeah.
you've got to, and you're going there and everyone's complaining. You got to find what you love about cleaning toilets and go there with a happy attitude and look for, man, I'm going to clean this toilet the best I can. Because what will happen is, I said, you got to find what you love and what you have to do until you can do what you love every day. And what I meant by that was,
I'm going to interrupt you, DJ. Say that again. That is so powerful.
Yeah, you've got to find something that you love and what you have to do until you can do what you want to do, until you can do what you love to do every day.
That is incredible. Well said.
Yeah. And so, because what happens if you're going to work and you don't want to do this and you're complaining and you're finding the negative, then even if you're building a side hustle, right? I encourage people, like, listen, I know you got to go to work. Maybe you hate it, you don't want to, but you have to right now. I encourage you to start looking for things that you enjoy about going to work and focusing on those, because if you don't, what will happen is you're complaining at work, you grow your side hustle, you get to do your side hustle, you're going to find shit to complain about all day long and go, oh my God, I'm doing what I love. Why am I miserable again? Because it's habits. And so you're either forming, they say if you have a beater car and you treat it like a beater car, when you get a Mercedes,
treat it the same way.
You're going to treat it like a beater.
But
if you have a beater and you treat it like a Mercedes, when you get a Mercedes, you'll treat it like a Mercedes, right? And awesome. I used to tell my son that. Now he's had like 3 Mercedes, and he takes great care of them.
Yeah.
Go figure.
That's right.
Right? So, yeah, man.
That's fantastic, man. Look, it's no bizarre or no doubt of why you're at the level that you're at, because of what you've been able to transform and work on here, right? And not only here, but even dropping it here, which is incredible. Because I think if anybody that's listening today wants to get to that level, right, wants to be a multimillionaire CEO, running multiple businesses, handling other people's monies and investing and doing all the things that you're doing, because I know you're up to even a greater scale since the last time we spoke, and what you're doing now with your business, which is fantastic. But I think these are core components that we should adopt, that we need to start focusing on, right, to develop and to work on our perspective and work on our beliefs and take the proper actions and be able to focus on what we control, and doing these things to develop consistency so we can eventually get there. Right? So what are you up to now, man? What changes have you done? What are you up to now in terms of your business? I want to give you some time to also share some of the good things. What should people be expecting from you? What other things do you have in the works? Please share.
Man, so I've been coaching and mentoring for a long time, and have helped, hundreds of people in the wholesaling, home flipping, and I still do that, but it's very few. I only literally will take on a few new people a month. I'm not looking to do anything big on that scale. For me, I'm getting into apartments a lot. Acquiring, really digging on acquiring apartments and stacking the doors on those. That's big. Awesome. Because and then also helping people. Our main business is helping people that have as little as 15 grand, right? As little as 15, 20,000, actually get into real estate deals and start doing them. If you're wholesaling, if you're flipping, if I've done over 3,500 wholesale and flip deals out of state. So my niche, doing things remote.
Good.
But really anybody that they have a little bit to they sold a property they need to 1031 it. We're doing a bunch of properties for one of our guys right now. But the ability to help people if they got 5 million and they want to get it working for them, right? It doesn't matter what level they're at. We work with people and say, hey, this is what you have. This is what you're wanting to do. We look at their goals and say, okay, hey, here what I think is the best option based upon, it's not about us, right? And I take that approach now, Dave, where we've got a few different really good options. They can be private lend on an apartment deal and get a piece of the apartment building. They can private lend on a flip. They can invest and buy properties cash outright. Or if they need guidance with wholesaling or flipping and that kind of thing, you know, I can definitely give them some moves. I am working to put all my training inside of a blueprint, more or less, to be able to share with people, where they can buy it and just make it super affordable, right? Where it's not 25 or 50 or whatever thousand. It's going to be like 3 or 4 or 5,000, but like this stuff will show them, it ain't going to be like $100, but really just like, hey, here's everything that you need to go do this, you know, kind of thing. And so I think that way I can impact more people, because I'm such an empath that when I was coaching and doing that on a heavy basis, I created, it was my fault, but I created a very heavy kind of codependency, right? And I think that with anybody, it's like, hey, we'll give you the blueprint, we'll give you the support, we'll tell you what to do, but you have to do the work. You can't help someone lose weight. You can share with them, here's your routine, here's what you need to do, but they have to go do the work.
That's right.
Right. And so just reframing the coaching, mentoring to be more like self-sufficient, like, hey, we're going to be here to help answer questions, guide you. We're going to show you how to do everything, but you're going to go find the deals, sell the deals, close the deals, get the buyers. You're doing it all. We're going to show you exactly how to do it. And then we're going to be here to guide you if you need some guidance, and help you with support and, you know, that kind of thing. Cause I do love seeing people win. Yeah. But I think too, and here's the thing too, Dave, I'm telling you guys right now, not everybody, right? But most of the people you see on posting on social media, flexing, doing all this, they're full of shit. The guys that, and now there are some that are legit, right? My buddies like Thatch Wynn, Chris Rude, obviously Cardone, Ed Milet, right? There's a bunch, obviously, that do what they say. But Ryan Pineda is awesome. But I'm just saying, like, you really have to understand, right? It's so easy to win. If you just, this is how you win in anything, by the way. You don't need more information. You need instruction.
That's
do
good.
this,
say that
do
again.
this, do.
Say that again. Say that again.
It's great to have some information to know like how to do something, right? But most people, they go to these seminars and re-events, and they own more than a property or two, right? And so you don't need more information. You need instruction, meaning like, okay, do this before you do this. Don't do this ever. And then once you do this and this, do this. And then once you do this, do this. And then, right, the people need instruction. And so if you can find a mentor that's been there, done it, what you want to do, and ask them if they can give you the instruction. Obviously, you get information on YouTube, right?
Totally.
In vast amounts.
Yeah.
But they don't give you the instruction, right? Yeah. And so, and I think too, Dave, if you have the instruction from someone that's been there and done it, and you take action, that's the second part, and you take consistent, committed action every single day, right? I tell people, dude, work for an hour a day on your side hustle, but do it 6 days a week. Take Sundays off, whatever, but do it 6 days a week. Don't put 6 hours in on Saturday, right? Do an hour a day. Why do you think they have like 75 hard? Why is it called, it ain't called 75 easy? Because you got to do it every day. Man, I got done working at 10 at night. Shit, I got to get my second workout in, or I'm going to wake up and open the Andy Frisella's app and have him looking at me like, Did you fail? Don't lie to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
So
good. Yeah.
like it is hard, right?
That's right.
It's not going to be easy. And so I think like if people know that going in, like, dude, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to work harder than you've worked if you want to get the things that you don't have.
That's right.
It's kind of common sense, but now I tell people that up front, right? It's like, so I think like those are some things I'm doing and
Awesome.
have plans here in the near future. And the best way to reach me or get in touch with me is to just go to my Instagram. On my Instagram, you can click contact and literally call or text my cell. You can click my bio in my Instagram and see reviews, articles, all of that. So that's kind of
Awesome.
like everything in one spot. But just my Instagram is D.J. Thielen, Thielen. And that's the easiest way to reach out. And so those of you
Awesome.
that want to connect with me, I love connecting with new people, connect with me. And man, that's what I got for you.
Awesome. We'll share all your information, contact information in the show notes. So look out for his info there. And before we go, look, when I met you at the gym, you just were like at the peak. You still are at the peak of your, I think, at your physicality, right? In your physical state. You don't look 50 years old. You look in your late 30s. You look phenomenal.
Thanks,
And
man.
how has taking care of your health, or how has, working out and making health a priority for you really helped you get to where you're at? Let's close there.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, the famous Deion Sanders, right?
Yeah.
Has a saying in his wall in his office. Look good, feel good, play good, get paid good. So
Wow, that's good.
listen, how we take care, how we do, there's a saying, what is it? How we do anything is how we do everything, right?
Yeah.
So if you're taking care of your physical health, if you're waking up at a decent time, I'm not saying you got to get up at 5, but if you're waking up at an early time, meditating, praying, gratitude, swimming, exercising, taking care of you and your mindset and setting your tone for the morning.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, it's just so vital. And I think, like, for me, right, I have good genes from my mom, but my mom died of, actually had another heart attack we didn't know about, but she died at 62.
Wow.
And from a massive heart attack. And so she retired April 1st, 2010, 12 years ago today, my mom retired.
Wow.
She died 30 days later, right? So like, crazy. To me, Dave, that you talk about health, dude, I'm like, told my brother, bro, that ain't going to be me. It's kind of like the same thing with my dad, right? It's like, dude, that ain't going to be me. I'm going to be there for my son. Same thing with my mom. That is not going to be me. I just realized that about myself. That's not going to be me. I am not going to not eat good and not take care of myself and then not see my grandkids grow up.
Yes.
Right. Or not experience the full life that I have this one shot here on earth. So, like, I think that so many times that, knowing what you don't want can be just as powerful as what you do want. And so taking a stance and going, hey man, I'm fed up. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I don't care what I got to do. Look on Facebook, look on all these groups. And there's probably millions of people here that shred out and lose a ton of weight and get the fittest they've been in their life. If you got that, it's not like there's two, right?
Yeah.
Like, if everyone else is doing it, that goes to show you. And a lot of times you're better, or we're better than these other people, right? So sometimes I tell people, if you want a result, go on Facebook, and some of it's bullshit, but go on Facebook, go look for people that have done it because you're going to go, oh my God, if that person can do that, I know I can do it. And it just might inspire you to finally get over that hump and kind of break, one last line. I heard TD Jakes, TD Jakes say this to Steve Harvey on an interview.
Yeah.
Or his show. He said, anytime you want to go to a new level, guess what you got to go through? A glass ceiling. When you break through glass, it's going to hurt. You're usually going to hurt somebody close to you.
Wow.
And it's going to be painful.
Yeah.
But the only way to that next step, that next version, that next place is you got to go through glass. And so knowing that, like, hey, I'm willing to go through this. I know it's going to hurt. I'm probably going to hurt some people close to me. Some people might not understand. They might hate on me. But if I want that, I got to go through that. I got to go through that glass, and might get cut, might be not that bad, or might be really bad. But if I want that, I've got to go through. That's what I got to go through. And I love that about TD Jakes when he said that. I'm like, man, that's so, because a lot of times people they say, yeah, I want to lose weight. I want to get healthy. I want to, you got to make it a must.
Yeah.
We don't get what we want. We get what we must have. So if you make it a must, I must get healthy because I want to live a healthy life, or I want to see my grandkids grow up.
That's a good one.
And so it's kind of like two kids that grow up with an alcoholic dad. And I saw this picture. One guy's in a suit, one guy's a bum on a street, and they're sitting next to each other. And there was a saying, and it said on the post, I think it was on Instagram, when asked why we each turned out the way we did, we both answered the same answer: because our dad was an alcoholic.
Wow.
Right?
Perspective, man.
So you're either going to resist, say that's not going to be me, or you're going to, fall into it. So
yeah,
that's all I got
to
for
choice,
you. Sorry,
man.
I was so quiet today.
No, that's exactly why I wanted you on, man. Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted you on. You're a man of wisdom. You're not at the level that you're at by mistake. You obviously know things that people can definitely benefit from and grow with. So thank you so much for being gracious. Thank you for jumping on an episode here today with me and just sharing with the audience things that you've learned, overcame circumstances and situations, and allowed your darkest moments to be your greatest triumphs, and how you've been able to just turn them into blessings. So DJ, always, man, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you,
always
brother.
great
Appreciate
to connect.
you, man.
Yeah, and we got to meet up. Now that we're back, now that we're in Florida together, we got to meet up, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Grab a bite together.
We will, buddy.
And there you have it. That is the end of our episode. You've tuned in to Listen, You're Not Defeated, and I'm your host, David Hernandez. I just want to let you know, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you click the subscribe button and click the little bell to get notifications. Know that every week on Thursday, I am releasing a brand new episode to inspire you, to motivate you, and to help you live a not defeated life. Because remember, you're not defeated. If you'd like to connect with me, if you have any questions, or you would like to see how I can better support you, look, this platform is created for you. You are the most important asset here, and I want you to know that I'm here to support you and to guide you in any area that you might be needing help with when it comes to emotional eating, stress eating, binge eating, and also your health and fitness journey. Let's connect. Go to my website, www.davidhernandez.co. That is davidhernandez.co. It's right there down below. Go ahead and connect with me there. And also know that you can connect with me on all social media platforms, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, under the handle at Dave K. Hernandez. Also right down there at Dave K. Hernandez. So plug in, stay connected, and remember, you are incredible, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care. Be safe. God bless. You are incredible. Peace.